listening or watching. Pull this a little bit closer to me. Okay. So we'll do the chanting of the dhyana shlokas, and then we will do the second half of the 10 shlokas, the second half of the 10 shlokas of the DakshinaMurthi Stotra. And perhaps from next time on we will do all 10, and perhaps then soon together, because I think most of you already know this. So let's start with this. Oops. Okay. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can just repeat after me. Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Varshistante Vasat Rishiganai Avritam Brahmanishtai. Ante Vasat Rishiganai Avritam Brahmanishtai. Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandarupam. Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandarupam. Swatma Ramam Muditavadnam Dakshina Murti. Swatma Ramam Muditavadnam Dakshina Murti. Vatavitapi Samipe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam. Vatavitapi Samipe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam. Sakala Muni Jananam Jnanadataram Harat. Sakala Muni Jananam Jnanadataram Harat. Tribhuvana Gurumisham Dakshinamurti Devam. Tribhuvana Gurumisham Dakshinamurti Devam. Janana Marana Dukkha Cheda Daksham Namami. Janana Marana Dukkha Cheda Daksham Namami. Chitram Vatataror Mule Vriddha Shishya Gurur Yuva. Chitram Vatataror Mule Vriddha Shishya Gurur Yuva. Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshaya. Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshaya. Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Bhishaje Bhavaroginam. Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Bhishaje Bhavaroginam. Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye. Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। Okay, let's do now verse number 6 to 10. Number 6. So we'll do that again. Did last time. We'll do that twice. One in the middle, and then one completely second time. Rahu grasta divankarendu sadrishaha. Rahu grasta divankarendu sadrishaha. Maya samachadnat. Maya samachadnat. Rahu grasta divankarendu sadrisho maya samachadnat. Rahu grasta divankarendu sadrisho maya samachadnat. Sanmatra karnopasamharnataha. Sanmatra karnopasamharnataha. Yo bhut shushuptav puman. Sanmatra karnopasamharnato yo bhut sushuptav puman. Sanmatra karnopasamharnato yo bhut sushuptav puman. Pragaswapsamiti prabodha samaye. Pragaswapsamiti prabodha samaye. Yaf pratyabhigyayate. Yaf pratyabhigyayate. Pragaswapsamiti prabodha samaye. Yaf pratyabhigyayate. Pragaswapsamiti prabodha samaye. Yaf pratyabhigyayate. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. Balyadishvapi jagradadishu tatha. Balyadishvapi jagradadishu tatha. Sarvasvavasthasvapi. Sarvasvavasthasvapi. Balyadishu api jagradadishu tatha. Sarvasvavasthasvapi. Balyadishu api jagradadishu tatha. Sarvasvavasthasvapi. Vyavrittasvanuvartamanam. Vyavrittasvanuvartamanam. Ahamityantaspurantam sada. Ahamityantaspurantam sada. Vyavrittasvanuvartamanam ahamiti. Aham ityan antaspurantam sada. Vyavrittasvanuvartamanam ahamityantaspurantam sada. Swatmanam prakatikaroti bhajatam. Swatmanam prakatikaroti bhajatam. Yo mudraya bhadraya. Mudraya bhadraya. Swatmanam prakatikaroti bhajatam. Yo mudraya bhadraya. Swatmanam prakatikaroti bhajatam. Yo mudraya bhadraya. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya. Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya. Swaswami Sambandhataha. Swaswami Sambandhataha. Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya. Swaswami Sambandhataha. Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya. Swaswami Sambandhataha. Shishyacharyataya tathaiva. Shishyacharyataya tathaiva. Pitraputrat पितृपुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः पितृपुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जागृति वा य एष पुरुषः स्वप्ने जागृति वा य एष पुरुषः माया परिभ्रामितः स्वप्ने जागृति वा य एष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः स्वप्ने जागृति वा य एष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये भूरंभांस्य नलो नीलो अम्बरं भूरंभ्यांस्य नलो नीलो अम्बरम् अहर्नार्थो हिमांशुः पुमान् अहर्नार्थो हिमांशुः पुमान् भूरंभांस्य नलो नीलो अम्बरमहर्नार्थो हिमांशुः पुमान् भूरंभांस्य नलो नीलो अम्बरमहर्नार्थो हिमांशुः पुमान् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदम् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदम् यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशताम् नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशताम् यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशताम् यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः नान्यत् किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशताम् यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे सर्वात्ममिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानाच्च संकीर्तनात् तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानाच्च संकीर्तनात् तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानाच्च संकीर्तनात् सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्ध्येतत्पुनरष्टधा परिणतं सिद्ध्येतत्पुनरष्टधा परिणतं चैश्वर्यमव्याहतं चैश्वर्यमव्याहतं सिद्ध्येतत्पुनरष्टधा परिणतं चैश्वर्यमव्याहतं Tat punarashtadha parinatam chaishvaryam avyahatam. Okay. I think this is been chanted and it's available on the web. So based on that, what I will probably do is, just to save time, from next time on, we will chant it together. And if you're not very sure of it, you can just keep silent and listen. But I think we will just, and then you can always follow the recorded sound from the web. I'll double check it. I think I did it. If not, then I will do it there. So you'll have a chance to. So talking of that, did you get a chance to download the text that I had sent out, which is the overview of all the verses? Anybody had a problem doing that? Anybody did it? You could not open it? Oh, how can that be?
So what not did it?
We did it. Was still all 10 verses, yeah?
Yeah, please do so. I think I'm going to use that more and more, where I'll put some, even today I'm going to, I was just looking at a way to express the first verse, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I think I'll just put that on the web so you can look at it. So I think that the instructions are simple. Let me just verbalize it once. I think you can write it down. So what you do is you go to the website, which is arshavidyacenter.org. Okay. Then you click on, and I think that Raj has actually put it on the main page itself. But just to be sure, the normal method is that you go to current classes. So click on current classes. And then under the right hand side, there is DakshinaMurthi Stotram, I believe 2019, because we have an earlier version that we did. So click on the DakshinaMurthi Stotram 2019. And so this will open up what is called the playlist of all the sounds that have been recorded, audios that have been recorded. This doesn't take you to YouTube, but we are talking about audio. So it has a playlist of all the audios. Then on the top of the playlist, there are 3 tabs. One called audio, and I'm not sure where the video takes you. I'm not quite.
Video, audio, and text.
Video is also there, audio is there, and text.
Text is there. Text
No, I know, but I'm talking about, before I go to the text, so what about the video? Where does the video take you?
I didn't check, but I went to the text.
Yeah, no.
It should be YouTube.
Videos are the YouTube videos that he was.
So really? So it has references to that as well, under the video? Oh, that's good. Excellent. But anyway, then the third tab is text. And under the text there are various subheadings. And one of them is, as I have put down, which is the overview of the 10 verses. And I think that I will add some more content onto it as time goes on. So do check that into it. Anyway, it's not that important for today's class, but I do encourage you to rely upon information. And also the chanting. I'm not sure whether Raj has put the chanting on a separate area or just as part of the DakshinaMurthi Stotram. So if you want to listen to the chant as a practice, that also should be there somewhere. Okay.
You said it's on the main page also.
I think so. I just saw that.
It's there on the main
Yeah.
page also.
It's on the main page also. But I think that may or may not happen in the future, but at least this one is for sure, this method will be there. Okay, so let us start on the first verse itself today. And let's pronounce it, since we didn't do that today, but for the next few classes, we will now look into verse by verse. So today we start a section of the first verse. So you can just follow after me. Vishwam darpana dishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. Vishwam darpana dishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. Pashyannatmani mayaya bahirivotbhutam yatha nidraya. Pashyannatmani mayaya bahirivotbhutam yatha nidraya. Yat sakshat kurute prabodha samaye swatmanamevadvayam. Yat sakshat kurute prabodha samaye swatmanamevadvayam. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Shri DakshinaMurthaye. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Shri DakshinaMurthaye. Okay. So as I had mentioned to you that these verses having been composed by Adi Shankara, one of his four disciples, Padmapadacharya, he has got four very famous disciples. He probably had more than that, but he had four very famous disciples that were Mahatmas in their own way. They were extremely well done. So Padmapadacharya, then Totakacharya, Hastamalakacharya, and Sureshwaracharya. These were these four disciples were there. And each one of them has written a wonderful commentary on the works of their Guru in their own way. And we'll perhaps at least mention it some other time. But in this case, Sureshwaracharya was the most expressive. He's done a lot of work for his Guru. And as you may know, that he was a Karmakandin. Before he met his Guru, he was really following the first part of the Vedas. And the first part of the Vedas has to do with karma, rituals, and the effectiveness of it, and the results of it, the objectives of it completely. Okay? But here's the issue. It is so well done and so effective. So effective. So for example, Swami Dhananji had given this example, that there are rituals to do anything. Whatever you want to do, you can if you perform the rituals properly, you get the results of it. So Swami Dhananji had given this example that one time, this is a real thing that happened in his lifetime. There was a drought in a certain part of India. It happens all the time. India's, either the rains come in spurts or there is nothing at all. It's very difficult to live in those extremes. So in the drought, people were just saying, praying to Ishvara and so on. Finally, a group of them got together and said, there is a ritual in the Vedas for the rains to come. Why don't we do that? So they all, the part of the ritual is that it has to be done by some very authentic Pandits that know exactly what to do. You cannot, if you make some errors in your puja, then the whole thing is not, it doesn't work at all. Just an example of that, Swami Viditatmananda had given this. He was once telling us that Swami Dayanand was invited to preside over the inauguration of a temple in Gujarat, some important temple. And so Swami Dayanandji was the main person. And so Swami Viditatmananda also was there with him. So both of them were observing, and they were honored to become the swamis that were overseeing the construction of this temple. And the temple was complete. They just had to do Griha Pravesha and the final Ahuti and so on. Anyway, Swami Vidithatmananda was saying, it is said, what they do is they hang a mirror next to the temple. And so the audience is all sitting, and on the side there is a mirror. Not sure what the size is, but it's, it's a sizable mirror. And it is written in the Shastra that if all of the steps required for the inauguration of this temple are done properly, at a certain point in time when you are chanting, the mirror breaks. Swami Vidithatmananda said, I saw that with my own hand, with my own eyes. He says, all of a sudden there was no stone thrown on it, there is no wind or anything like this. As soon as these were chanting, the mirror broke. And the Pandits all kind of smiled at each other. He said, good, that means we did everything correctly. If you don't do everything correctly, that's okay, because you can still ask for the forgiveness. Kayena vacha manase indriva, whatever you can do. But if you do it properly, this thing breaks. So you can see the extraordinary power. And so anyway, going back to the drought, Swamiji says it was done so well that they started raining. Again, it has to be done so correctly. All the bricks have to be lined up properly. This is the way it is. Anyway, Sureshwaracharya, to go back to the original story, was a strict adherent of the karma. He said, he could see the results that were produced by the Vedic chanting, and so he was an absolute, and his thinking was that there is nothing more than this. This is what needs to be done, and you don't get moksha in this life, and then at the end of this life, when the body falls, then you're taken to, and this is all true, by the way. This is all true, that after the death of the body, then you're taken to some Swargaloka, and you have extraordinary experiences and so on. Sureshwaracharya was the adherent of this karma. His name was Mandana Mishra. Mandana Mishra was his name. He was not Sureshwaracharya.
Yeah.
And so then it was typically done where there was a debate done, where the debates are between the Jnani, the one who believe in Jnanam, and Karmakandins. And apparently Adi Shankara easily defeated him. And the thing is that the person who is defeated can have one of two things. You can either have your ego so prominent that despite of the fact that you got defeated, you'll say, okay, this time you defeated me, but I am not giving up my beliefs. Or if the opponent is so sharp and so thinking, it starts to completely change his mind. He says, my God, he's right. I had not thought of that. Sureshwaracharya was one of those. And like a person who has been now completely converted, he was extremely articulate. There's this say in Pakistan, like this Musharraf guy.
Mm-hmm.
So in Pakistan, people that came from India, Muslims that actually emigrated into Pakistan from India, were more kattar, they were more extreme than the original Pakistanis, because they had to say that we had to prove ourselves. Don't doubt the fact that we are not the true Muslims. And Musharraf was one of them. Musharraf was born in New Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
He was raised in New Delhi. but he went to Pakistan, and there is a term for it. I forget what it is. Anyway, so so what's that?
Muhajir.
Muhajir. Yes, you're right. That is the name. That's the name. Anyway, so Sureshwaracharya became a very ardent follower of the Jnanam. He says, oh my God, how could I have missed this? And in a way, this is what they say. Even now for the students of Vedanta, it is said that you should study the competing, and we will actually go through this at some length. You should study the competition in such depth. Competition means the alternate ways of thinking. Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, and all these other kinds of things. You become such experts at them that you do a better job of representing them than they do themselves. And yet you can understand the fallacy of their thinking. So this is not an ordinary thing. In fact, in our study also they say that in order to strengthen the purity of your own thought, you have to test yourself with all the other schools of thought, and we will study that to a certain extent. Anyway, this is Sureshwaracharya. So Sureshwaracharya has written this Manasa Ullasa, a commentary on this DakshinaMurthi Stotram, which is just marvelous. So, in introducing the first verse, as I mentioned to you, this is my challenge. I'm not going to go through each one of the verses, but I will try to summarize the basic concepts in some way. So it will take me a little while. It may be a little rough, but hopefully I'll get to I'll make it smooth. So in introducing the first verse, Sureshwaracharya first says that please understand. And so whenever Sureshwaracharya will say something, or any one of the people, they represent the Vedantic thinking itself. It's not like I am saying this. In Vedanta, nothing like is there. We do not have a brand new person that stays just like Ramanujam in Vishishta Advaita. He said, no, some of the Vedic principles are wrong. I'll tell you what it should be. Egoistic. Vedas are not wrong. It's the words of Ishvara. If you don't agree with it, try to study it more. Anyway, so it's not as though he was saying that I am saying this. Here he's saying this is what our Shastra says. What does the Shastra say? Shastra says, please understand, there is no gain as important as the gain of knowing the Atma. Atma labhat parah labah nasti iti munayah viduhu. Number 2. From time to time I will reference it. So this is number 2 of the so it is, you can say 1-2. So 1 refers to the first verse of the Dakshinamurti, and 2 refers to the Sureshwaracharya's Manasa Ullasa. So in 1-2 he says, Atma labhat paraha labha nasti iti munayoho viduhu tat labhartham kavis tauti swatmanam parameshwaram. So in introducing the verse, he says that please see that there is no gain as important as Atma gain, the prapti of Atma. And in order to make sure that you get this gain, he now creates stuti. Stuti means a praise. So these two need to be explained. One is, why is it that the Atma Labha is the best Labha? Labha means a gain. And why is it done in the form of a stuti? These are the 2 points. So, and I think I'd mentioned this even last week, but let me repeat it. Atma Labha is the best for the following reason. If you think about it, any other gain that one has in our life, any other gain that we have in our life, does not last. Does not last. Eventually it has to be given back. No matter what it is. Doesn't matter. And so Swami Maheshanji makes a very beautiful point. He says, in Hindi he says, जो पदार्थ कुछ समय के लिए पास आता है, वो तो उधार कहा जाता है. He says, if you look at any gain that comes to you for a while, and you can have some very important gains in your life. You can be married to a wonderful person. You can get a wonderful job. You can have some very good friends. And like that, some gains really last for a long time. Knowledge, some knowledge of some subject can really help you. Eventually, those things also have to be given up. Either they leave you or you leave them. One or the other. So in that sense, Swami Maheshananji says that it is like a loan. All gains, except for Atma Labha, all gains are like loans. Don't you see that, he says? He says, जो पदार्थ कुछ समय के लिए पास आता है वो तो उधार कहा जाता है. संसार के सभी पदार्थ वस्तुतः उधार ही आए हुए हैं क्योंकि कालांतर में चले जाते हैं. Very true. He says all of the things that come in our view, in our life, stay for a while but eventually leave us. That just means somebody says, okay, I'll loan it for you, enjoy it, but I want it back. It cannot happen that there is any exception to this. Just think about it. This is an important thing to see. Except the prapti of Atma. The prapti of Atma is not given to you. It is you. The prapti of the Atma, it does not come. It is discovered as being yourself. So it does not follow the rule of a loan. It is already yours, but not understood. Not understood. It's yours. So therefore, for that reason, there is no labha, there is no gain superior to the Atma labha. There are many other reasons for it. This is one reason. And the second one is that once you understand that you are not dependent on anything, you are independent, you are self-existing, Swayambhu, Swayam Jyoti, you are independently the nature of knowledge, I know. It is not a guna, it is not a quality, it is your swarupa. At once you know this, that you are independent, you do not need any other desires. All desires of life is because it's kind of like, you can't even measure. Supposing you have $1 trillion available to you. Not just 1 trillion, but several trillion. You can't even spend it. Supposing you have that in your bank account, but you don't know it. And you're begging for $5 here, $10 here, asking somebody, can you please give me a loan for $1,000? Or you go to the bank for loaning. This is exactly the situation is. But if you were to discover you don't need anything, then it's a completely different one. So that's why he's saying, Atma labha paralabha nasti. And so my namaskara tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri DakshinaMurthi, the one who makes me understand that I have all this labha, I have so much gain, and I don't need to get anything. Will it not be a namaskara? Should it not be done in a kind of a one who, it's kind of like somebody who makes you see how rich you really are. You think you are poor, but and the whole problem is that you don't believe it. I gave this example in some other classes that all of a sudden, supposing you are sitting one day and there's a knock on the door, and you are having a hard time meeting your finances, especially with the rents of this area. Did you hear that San Francisco's 1 bedroom is now $37.50? It is incredible. My younger son, he had a condominium in San Francisco, and he got a good price on it about 6-7 years ago, and he sold it. And now he cannot get back into the thing. So he's renting something, and he says, oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. So supposing you get a knock on the door one day, and there's somebody knocks on, he says, are you such and such? You say, yes. Can I come in? He says, why? Why do you want to come in? I have some very good news for you. And whenever somebody says that, you suspect there's some hustler. So you say, I don't need any good news. He says, sir, please, I'm not joking. Here's who I am. I am from Bank of America, and I have a money for you that was given by a uncle living in another country who had no children, and he has given this to you. So at least you are interested, so you call this guy. He says, okay, how much? He says, are you sitting down? $100 million. You say, what? $100 million? And he says, yeah, you have to pay taxes on it, as you do, just like a lottery. But, about 70 million will be yours, or something like that. So this fellow who hardly, can get his finances met, he cannot visualize $70 million. And so something like this, then even though he's just a bystanding lawyer, but you're very grateful to him. Wow, you're the one who really delivered this. Wouldn't you not give him a huge tip? So similarly here also, Dakshinamurthi is the one that can make you see that you are rich beyond your dreams. Cannot even visualize. All I want is to have a nice weekend. I go to this gym, and so there the common thing is, did you have a nice weekend? So I say, oh yeah, I did have a very good day. I hate to tell them that all days are weekends for me. I don't have any weekends or anything, but that puts the person down. He says, yeah, I had a pretty good, nice weekend. So all we require is a pleasant weekend. Where did you? And so this is one of the things. Whenever I have these social get-togethers, the question is, the normal thing is, so where have you gone this year, traveled? And I have to lie. Really, I have to lie. I don't say that I'm not interested in traveling. I'm very happy where I am, but I can't say that because that puts them down. So I says, well, I did actually, this is wonderful, when I went for this cruise last year. So that's last me for 4 or 5 years. So now I will say, oh, what a wonderful cruise. Quite frankly, I have completely forgotten about it. Where I went, all the museums, it was so boring, unbelievable. And, why? Doesn't last.
Correct.
There's no sense in it, absolutely. And the worst part was that we had a hard time not eating. There was food there like complete day. I put on 4 pounds, which took me like 2 months to get rid of. Useless. But then, I cannot say that. So I have to tell everybody, oh, we went to this cruise. And now I have to struggle which countries I went to. Quite frankly, I've forgotten. These were some Russian countries. I have completely forgotten about it, except for Denmark and, I can't even remember. So I have to say this. So, this is the situation. If we can just travel a little bit and just go to some nice restaurants, I'm very happy, very happy. And so to say that you are approaching the freedom from death, don't talk to me about those kinds of things. Don't joke with me, okay? You can just say what kind of a nice weekend you had, that's all. If I can last for a while, it'll be okay. But to knock on the door of infinity is not something that's possible. And so here it says, Tat labhartham kavihi stauti swatmanam parameshwaram. So the stuti to Parameshwara, who makes it possible for me to reach infinity, is something which is unbelievable. And so in explaining this, Swami Maheshananji pointed out that and I think I mentioned this last time also, that this stuti means a praise in the form of DakshinaMurthi Stotram, is not done very often. And why it is so unique is because in one step you do both jnanam and bhakti. Bhakti and jnanam both are very necessary. All 3 of them are very necessary. Karma, jnanam and bhakti. Of course, jnanam is the ultimate one. But jnanam also has to be pursued. The pursuit of knowledge has to be done in a very dedicated way. And you cannot do that until you have bhakti. You cannot be a dry jnanam. You have to fall in love with it. And falling in love can only come in when you can see the beauty of it. Otherwise, it's kind of interesting. I read a book, and then it just becomes a egotistical thing. How many books have you read? I was telling you this, that one time I was so excited. This is like about 10 years back. Somehow or the other, there were some Indian graduate students from Stanford who found out that I think they saw our web page. Because I was asking them, how did you discover? So they called me and he said, we're very happy that you're teaching Vedanta because we have a group of spiritually oriented Indian students who are graduate students of Stanford, and we would love to have you come and talk to us. So I was very excited. I said, wow, this is so wonderful. Finding intelligent students is not easy. And so I said, this is wonderful. I drove there and so on and so forth. And they said, we have a very large group of people. So I didn't know what large meant. Well, when I got there were 4 people. And one of them had to said, I'm sorry, there was only 3 were left. Because one of them had to, the 4th one had to go very quickly. So I said, it doesn't matter, 3 people, that's good. So I started talking to them and so on. I had not spent more than 10 minutes when they all said, I have a question. So I said, oh, what wonderful, what? Have you studied Ramanujan? I said, I know about Vishishta Advaita, but it's not that I've studied it. So then the guy said, oh, so he just put me down, saying that this fellow has not looked at everything. And so then they said,
Madhvacharya.
Madhvacharya. So then they asked me, all they were interested in is pedantic knowledge. And when did it start? Which of the Upanishads came first? Rig Veda came first, and Samaveda. Namaskar. Thank you. When then they said, "Can we meet again?" I said, "Well, we'll see. I am not seeing them. This is not what I do." And so this isn't like that. This is something which you have to be very interested in. You have to fall in love with it. And so bhakti and jnanam both are very important. And both of them are combined together in this stuti. So this is Swami Maheshwaranji says, that's the really unique nature of the stuti. Okay, so we have done this number 2. Then let us see. Where is my introduction? Another aspect that Subheshwaracharya presents as an introduction to the first verse is number 3, 1-3. Says, Svechaya Shrishtam Avishya Vishwam Yah Manasi Sthitaha Stotrena Stuyate Anena Saha Eva Parameshwara. This is very, very beautiful. Several things are involved. So one of them is Manasi Sthitaha Parameshwara. And I think I mentioned this to you last time also, just to repeat. So this is the beauty of this study, is that the finding of Parameshwara. Parameshwara means the one who created me, who created the whole Vishwam, who is the author of it, who is with me all the time. That just reminds me. So, very unfortunate that in the last 1 year, 4 of our friends' parents passed away. 4 of them. 2 days ago, one of the people that I knew that was very sick, she passed away. And today was her funeral. We went to the funeral today. And so this is our friend Lata Krishnan. So her mother and father. So they both They live close by, and in fact, Lata had come to our classes here also, but she didn't continue. Anyway, so we got to know her parents because they didn't have too many friends, and my wife was very friendly to them, and so. But her mother was fading fast, so she really became very ill in the last couple of years. And then on Saturday, she passed away. And we had actually seen her the day before she passed away. So anyway, then I offered that yesterday. Today is what? Today's Tuesday. So yesterday, Monday. So I offered them that, which happened to be Mahashivaratri as well, that I will come and chant some things at their house, which I did. So they had all the family members there, and so I decided I'm going to chant Rudram, one from the Shruti, and the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is from the Smriti. So, because I didn't want to take too much time, I had about a half hour or so. So then I did that, and her father, Lata's father, also knows Rudram. Not very well, but he knows. And so he also chanted along with me as much as possible. And after that, then I spent about 5 minutes just giving them a sort of like an introduction to the whole thing. So what I said was that we all have an idea of who our family and friends are. When death approaches, then really all you can think of is your own family, your husband, your wife, your children, grandchildren, and thoughts of getting separated from them. All those thoughts come. And you don't think about Ishvara. And you don't think about Ishvara because it hasn't been introduced to you. This is such a sad situation, really. Because you do not think about a person who is with you from life to life. You only think about a person who you just happen to meet for this short time. Then you fall in love with them. And the person who really who created you, who is really sustaining you. So the others are sustaining it because they are instruments of sustenance. Yes, your family gives you food and water and so on and so forth. But the real sustenance comes from Ishvara, who alone is the manufacturer of your body, who alone makes your blood flow and your heart beat, who alone gives you sleep at night, keeps the prana going for a while. And if that is withdrawn, then he creates another situation for you. And all this time we are oblivious. Why? Because we are so shallow in our thinking. Whoever is just supporting me in an obvious way, we don't think about our real support. I can be more frank with you because you are the students of Vedanta. I wasn't really like that, but I said in a nice way that our wishes are with this lady, Gita Krishnan, that she remembers her real support, and it was really an introduction to the others, saying that the support can be invisible, but doesn't mean, so you have to make a distinction between what is the temporary support and what is the permanent support. And that can only come from an inquiry and thinking. And so it's not as though Ishvara is suddenly going to come and say, hey, remember me. In fact, the whole thing is nothing but the support of the Ishvara. Hey, there's a, I think I read it somewhere. I think Paramarthananda ji had given this example. So it turns out that Akbar, he had this funny guy, Birbal, who was very, very visible, very wise and so on. So he told Akbar one day, sir, I have to tell you this. You are greater than God. Akbar says, why? How? How am I greater than God? He says, I'll tell you why. You can turn a guy out of your kingdom. You can say, get out of here. Do not, if I ever see you, I'll have you beheaded. Is that true? That don't even come near me. You cannot say. He says, God cannot do that. So the Akbar became very happy. Yeah, you're right. That is true. He says, a put down. This is like a backhand slap. There is no place where God, where is he going to come out of the kingdom? There is no kingdom where the God is not there. So it's exactly like this. There is no place where the support is not there. It is there all the time. And that's our situation. We are only paying attention to our children and husband and wife and so on and so forth. We have no time, no knowledge, no ability to dwell on Ishvara. Such a tragedy, because you are not going to see these people again. One day they were your parents and your husbands and your children and so on. Now you're transported into a completely different world, only to be acquired by new mothers, new fathers. And all the time the Ishvara is the one who says, okay, I think, do you want to go there? Okay, let's go there. And then, so he's the one who selected the parents, who made you go there and start the whole thing, but you're not aware of it. So what an interesting, what a tragedy. So he says that, Manasi sthitaha. Manasi sthitaha means, please see that Ishvara is, your thoughts is Ishvara. What you think. If you think of a non-Ishvara, then Ishvara is hidden from you. If you think of the beauty of Ishvara, then Ishvara is in your mind. So you don't have to look for it in Char Dham, in Manasarovar. Of course he's there. He's here. It's in your own mind. Which means that the mind was also designed by Ishvara. I was telling one of my students the other day that, and I think Swami Paramarthananda really articulated it so well. He said, in the Gita he was saying, he said, what you have in your life is not as important as what you are. Beautiful. What you have is your own mind. your own body. This is given to you. These are what you get. This is what you have. This is Saguna Brahma. What you are is Nirguna Brahma. So where is it that Ishvara is not there? Even the things that you have were sanctioned by Ishvara, designed by Ishvara, given to you by Ishvara. And what you are is none other than Ishvara. So there's nothing you can, and yet we are worried and we are a jiva and we don't know who's my friend. I don't know what's going to happen to me. You feel lonely. You feel afraid about your life, your health. When in fact, both what you have and what you are is Ishvara. And this should be nothing but a lifetime of discovery. That's all it takes. Beautiful. So, Svechaya Shrishtam Avishya Vishwam Ya Manasi Sthitaha. So here the chase of Ishvara is in your own mind, not someplace, not an external kind of a thing. Examine your own thinking, your own mind, and you will find Ishvara there. And then, another interesting point. I mean, I thought that I'm going to race past this, but there's so many beautiful things that Swami Maheshananji really pointed out that I cannot give. So he says, another thing, you look at this stuti, you look at the nature of praise. Examine the nature of praising something. The praise is always with respect to something greater than the thing. Like you tell your son, my God, you are as brave as a lion. That means you are not quite as brave as the lion, but you are pretty close to being, you're praising the person. Somebody took a risk or something and you say, wow, that is amazing. So all the praise is with respect to something greater. Now you are praising Ishvara. Who is greater than Ishvara where the praise will be meaningful? Ishvara, you are as good as Ishvara. It doesn't make any sense. So what it means is, the stuti here is in terms of your understanding Ishvara better. I didn't think you were that good. My goodness. Wow. You are me. I cannot believe. You validate everything that I am. You never reject me. Wow. Incredible. This is kind of like, where there's one of my favorite examples, that if Einstein were to come and give a convocation in one of the local colleges, then the best introduction to Einstein will be really given by another very great scientist who understood all the principles of things that Einstein has developed. It's like I can see an introduction and he says, I am overwhelmed by Mr. Einstein. I thought he was a great person until a dedicated study of this theory of relativity just floored me. How could you think of it? Oh my goodness. I am delighted to present Einstein to you. You have a feeling of the understanding of his greatness. So this is the stuti. So here it's not as though he is comparing Einstein. You are as good as the best there was. No. It just simply says, oh my God. I didn't realize that you had this kind of an insight. Incredible. Incredible. So that is the nature of the stuti here. So the stuti is in the form of growth of one's own understanding. And he says, wow, this is really something, really wonderful. So that's the next thing that he did in doing the stuti. The last thing, which is perhaps the most important one, I'll just introduce it. I was hoping to actually start the Vishwam Darpana Dishyamana Nagari, but maybe we will postpone it to next week. And so the last thing, which is a very important thing, that Sri Sureshwaracharya presents before, I think that's, the last several things before the main verse is taken up. And so this is 1:4 through 1:7. Asti prakashate iti vyavaharaha pravartate tacca astitvam prakashatvam kasmin arthe pratishtitam kim teshu vartheshu kim va sarvatmani ishvare ishvarancha jivatvam sarvatvam cha kidasham, etc., etc. So here's what Sureshwaracharya says. He says, you look at your vyavahara, your transactions in life, your experiences in life, when you see something, when you touch something, when you, all the transactions with everything. It should, for a thinking person, this should be your, and it doesn't happen until this is pointed out. It very may happen if you have some great thinking child, which is possible. Children can be from their previous life extremely competent, but generally speaking, we don't think of that. So he says, when you do these transactions, think about the nature of the presence of things and also the knowledge of things. So for example, you're looking at a table. So table has two properties. Actually speaking, as the Drikdishya Viveka says, Asti bhati priyam iti amsha panchakam. So priyata means whether it is pleasant or not also is a quality. That we will do separately some other time. So what happens is that just to do the priyatatvam, the attractiveness of things. So what we come across falls under three segments. Things are very dear to me, things that I just cannot stand, and the big neutral in between. These are the three segments. Okay. So anyway, that's how we will discuss it some other times. Let's go back to the other two gunas of all things. One is Sat. So when you say the table is, and the other one is Chit, the table is known. So the isness of the table This is what Sureshwacharya is pointing out. The isness of the table and the knowingness of the table, are these the properties of the table? When you say the table is, and the table is known, the isness of the table, if the table disappears, does the isness also disappear? And if it does, that means that the isness is a guna of the table. Because when the table goes, the isness also goes. And similarly for the knowingness. If the table goes, then the knowingness of the table also is carried away by the table. Or this is not the situation. One of these two. Either the isness and knowingness of things are the property of things, or is the isness and knowingness not the property of things? And if they are not property of the things, whose properties are they? This is the question that we have to see. And herein lies the proper analysis, this line of thinking we have to do. And it is not very hard to figure out that it is not the first, it is the second. Because what you find is that isness is something which is there, and things come and go. If the table goes, then if the table is taken away, then the table's substitute is the thing that you are looking at when the table is removed. In this case, the carpet. And the carpet is removed, then the wood is. So you can say that the isness is always there, but the things come and go. So you can imagine, supposing, it'd be hard to even visualize, but you can do that suppose isness was part of the table. Knowingness and isness is part of the table. If the table goes, you know what will happen? You'll go blank. You will not have even consciousness. Thinking means that even knowingness means the consciousness of the table. You will just die immediately. That doesn't happen. My consciousness is still there. And whatever it falls on, that becomes I'm conscious of. And whatever is there, that is there. The isness is borrowed by that. So very clearly, it is not as though that every vastu is carrying its own isness and its own knowingness along with it. It's not as though the table's isness plus the chair's isness. It's not as though they all have a unique isness and they are all combined together. It doesn't happen. It'll be crazy. This whole thing will be crazy. It's not how the creation will be. We can't even visualize how that will be. So the isness is common. And knowingness is common. And it's very funny, you are also aware of the same isness as I am. You are aware of the same knowingness as I am. Everybody enjoys the same. In fact, very funny thing is that I become the knower, you become the known to me. And as far as you are concerned, I am the known, you are the knower. So some changes in the relationship takes place, but the knowingness and the isness remains the same. And so the question is, if that is the case, where does the isness and knowingness reside? Reside means, when did it start? Who is the originator of it? Does it ever end? This is what we have to look at. And does it reside in Parameshwara? Yes. It resides in Parameshwara. And Parameshwara, one which is never absent. Never absent. And in fact, this is what we have to see, that Parameshwara, that Paramatma, is none other than me. I also never go. The isness and knowingness is my own nature. So this way of preparing for the first verse is uniquely pointed out by Sri Sureshwaracharya. Beautiful. So this number 4 to 7. Asti prakashate iti vyavaharaha pravartate. He says that transaction is known to us. Everybody does that. Tatcha astitvam prakashatvam kasmin arthe pratishtitam. Where does it reside? Kim teshu va artheshu? Are they in these particular vastus, like tables and chairs? Kim va sarvatmani ishvare? Ishvaratvam cha jivatvam. Then, this is how much we have done so far, but then there is some other questions that spring up from this. Okay, if that's the case, then Ishvaratvam cha jivatvam sarvatmatvam cha kidrisham. What is the nature of Ishvara? What is the nature of me as a person? Janiyat tat katham jivaha. How will I know this? How are you going to explain this to me? Kim tat jnanasya sadhanam. What is the nature of knowing? Jnanat tasya phalangika. Phalam kim syad. Yeah, thank you. Jnanat tasya phalam kim. By knowing this, then what will happen? What do I gain from it? This is, you said that in the previous verse, tat jnanat tat labhat param labhat nasti. So he says, by knowing all this kind of understanding of where the astitvam and the knowingness is, what do I gain from it? Ekatvam cha katham bhavet. If you say that this is Ishvara, which is the same as me, how is that possible? They look very different from each other. Sarvagyas sarvakarta cha katham atma bhavishyati shishyam prati itham prichantam vaktum arabate guru. By knowing and by seeing the questions of the student, the Guru says, Vishwam darpana dishyamana nagari tulyam nija targatam pashyan atmani mayaya bahirivar udbhutam yatha nidraya, etc., which we will take up next time. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamad Eva Vashishyate. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri So I think what I'll do is, it was funny, I was sitting in the funeral and I was noting down there was a very good Pandit, by the way, very good job. He was taking his time. He was from Swaminarayan someplace. I'll have to find out, really, I liked him. And so while the ceremony was going on, I was translating the first verse in my own words. So I'm going to put this on the web. So before you come, so please print it out. Maybe take me a couple of days to do so. Because I looked at Swami Tattvavidanandaji's translation and I wanted to make some changes to it the way I see it. And so I will make that. And perhaps I will do that for all the verses. I won't do it all at the same time, but just whenever we are taking a verse, I will translate the way I see it, which is the vision of Swami Paramarthananda. I'm sorry, Swami Maheshananda. And so before you come to the class, please make a printout of this verse and bring it with you. So that
They will add this to the already existing text you have, the overview.
yeah, that's a good point. I think I'll do that. Just keep a single document, instead of, so let me see how that goes. I'll see. Right now it is just a summary, of the various, just the main principle behind it. But it may be good to just slowly develop it. It becomes a bigger document that you can just keep instead of having 3 or 4 different ones. Yeah, it's a good point. Let me look into that. Yeah.
In Mandukya, we studied the Upanishad verse first, then the Karika.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are doing the Ulasa first and then going to the verse. Why we are...
No, it's just the way it is. Here, it'll be both. It'll be
going back and
both.
forth.
Yeah, so there will be, there is a introduction to the verse. So that can be done. It's very possible that Gaudapada might have done it that way, that before you study the Upanishad, let me give you what the first one is. But he chose that you just study the Upanishad first, and now let me explain what it means. So it's different ways of, nothing peculiar about that. Yeah?
So there's a question online from Vivek Kaushal.
Okay.
He says, can I request Guruji, what is the significance of the phrase that is in the beginning of each verse of the document?
Okay, well that's an important question. Yes, so this is what I was saying, that the overview of the verses that I gave has a word associated with it, which is the central theme of that verse. It's the central theme of that verse. And oftentimes this is done that way, so that you keep the central theme in mind as you study it. So for example, in verse number 1, it is Atma Pratyak Rupam, Pratyak Swarupam. Forget it's Swarupam or Rupam. Swarupam. Atma Pratyak Swarupam. This is the central part of that Vivek. So what that means is, as we study, we will study verse number 1, that Atma is never manifest as itself. Very much like for example, in a dream, you have an expression of yourself as a dream, but you yourself are never in the dream. You are in the dream in a way, I don't want to confuse you, this is going into too much. Anyway, I think it's just too late to go into an explanation. All it means is that the nature of the Atma is that I am unmanifest. This is what we will explain. So that is the central part of that verse. Similarly, all the other verses have a central theme to it. And it's an important thing to keep in mind. And oftentimes the authors will, the commentators will do that. Here, Swami Maheshananji has given these, and I've simply translated his understanding of it. I didn't add any of my own. Yeah. All right, we will see you next week.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Last time to Kalpana Ben,
Yeah,
I bought it from our store.
okay.
So she was asking, you should show it to Guruji.